Hey everyone, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a play and review of the solo mode, the new solo mode I believe in Tokaido Duo. Stonemaier, just like the original Tokaido that I've covered recently, has a new edition of Duo, which is a two-player only release, and has added a solo mode to it, so we're going to see how that works out. And disclaimer that I got a review copy of this one. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So if you saw my previous Tokaido video or you've played that is a very chill, sort of zen experience where you're kind of leapfrogging over other players' pieces on this linear road to try to get the most victory points with different spaces. But this one gets a lot more cutthroat, as you can imagine, with a duo game, as a two-player game, in that you are going to roll these 3 dice, one of which will let you move your painter, one of which will let you move your merchant, and one of which will let you move your pilgrim. So each character has 3 meeples, 3 characters, and their movement is going to give them ways to earn victory points in different ways. So the artist is trying to do a different thing than the merchant, trying to do a different thing than the pilgrim. But how the game works is whoever is the first player for the round after the dice are rolled is going to pick and move with the first die. Then the other player is going to pick and move with one of the remaining dice. And then the last player will move with that one. And then this player will roll the 3 and they'll pick and move with one of them. So you got this little like back and forth sort of drafting competition going on. And you can see the values that have been rolled. So if you can see that like a value is perfect for your opponent to get exactly what they want, you might want to steal that die before they get it. And that's in essence how the automa works in this mode. They are going to grab dice with some preferences, and because you know what their preferences are and you can see which spaces are more valuable to them, then you as the player have some information on what you might want to grab and draft first. All right, so let's go over the basics of my characters, the full characters, and then I'll explain how the automa versions work. So first we have the artist. They start out with 10 of these little painting tiles face down, and they move in the areas in between these connecting lines. So they kind of cross over the lines into different large areas instead of moving from space to space like the other 2 characters. And the first action they can take after they move is to paint. What they do is they count the number of other characters that are in or bordering the current area that they're in. So like in this case, if I moved 1, I would have 2 characters bordering my space. And this includes the purple characters, your opponent, and your own. And you get to flip over that many paintings starting in the upper left and going along following these lines. And then after you've painted the paintings, you can now see what type of painting it is. Like this one has a moon over some clouds. And that corresponds, you'll see, to the spaces that your painter can move onto. And in a future round, if you move onto a space whose icon matches your leftmost painting, then you can take the action to gift a painting to somebody, removing it from your board, which will reveal a number of victory points. So first 2, then 4. And all your characters are going to earn victory points in ways like this. You total up the number of revealed victory points at the end of the game to see what your total score is. But also, every single character, if they reach the end of their track, so in this case, if the artist paints all 10 of her paintings, then you finish resolving any remaining dice and you count the final score. So getting to the end of the track is going to finish up what you're doing. Now, as for the automa, their artist is going to move in a clockwise fashion. However many spaces you pick for the die. If they land on one of the 2 spaces that start out with coins in them, they don't do anything, so that's where you want to make them land on. And how all their characters work is whenever they land on a space that is valuable for them, they move this little token forward 1. And by the way, there are 6 levels. You can just like kind of flip them over. You can even mix and match, so have like a harder artist and a weaker merchant, for example. And the number of victory points they've earned for the character is equal to the nearest showing number, so not the one they're covered. So like here they would have 2, now they would have 4. These little blue spaces are for if they get wave tiles, which you'll hear about in a second. And yeah, by the way, it has a little reminder here that you don't score if they land on a coin space. So that's how their artist works. Now, the merchant's a little bit different. They are moving along these golden lines. Think gold for merchant. If they land on one of these central spaces with a number next to like a little gift package here, that's called a mountain town. And they draw the indicated number of tiles from this bag and store them on their spots here. They can only hold up to 5, or if they get a wave tile, again, you'll hear about that soon, they might be able to hold up to 6. Alternatively, if their movement ends on a spot like this, that's called a coastal town, and you don't care about any of the other stuff the other characters use, you're just looking at the randomly placed tiles here. So let's say they went here. If you have any of the matching type of good, you can sell as many as you want. So if I had like 4 shirts in this case, I could sell all of them, and each one is going to get you as many coins as the value of the good indicated there. So here, 4 per shirt. And you just build up that money, but whenever you have 10 coins, you change them into a big gold coin. You're never spending these coins, by the way. They're just tracking how much you've earned. And the gold coins go underneath here. Just like the artist, this represents the number of points you have earned, 5, then 11, then 18. Once you get all the way to 45, you'll trigger the end of the game. So you're finding goods in the center, selling them on the exterior. Like the Automa artist, the Automa merchant just goes in a clockwise fashion, and they're just bouncing, like totally cheating. They're just bouncing from coastal town to coastal town. They will never go into the center, and they will move forward unless they land on this single coastal town out of, out of 8 that has a painting on it. So a little bit harder to lock the merchant out than the artist, since the artist also has 8 spaces to move through, but 2 out of the 4 are negative for him. Then finally, you have the Pilgrim. The Pilgrim is using these little spaces around the board, and even for the player, their movement is limited to going in a clockwise fashion, following the arrows you can see. And they have a bunch of different places to land on. These are, by the way, the characters that are very similar to the original Tokaido, if you've seen that. So if they land on one of these red Torii Gate symbols called a temple, they advance this token here. And if they land on one of these green spots called a garden, they advance this here. And their score at the end of the game is equal to the multiplication total of the 2 values. So here they'd be 2 times 2 is 4. If they were like that, it'd be 2 times 5 is 10. But now it's 6 times 5 for 30. And they trigger the end of the game if either of these reaches the end, either 6 gardens or 9 temples. They can also land on the coastal towns that they share with the merchants. When they do, they get a number of coins given to the merchants, so they're kind of a bit more of a freewheeler that can help other people out. They get a number of coins for their side equal to the value of the good there. Now, additionally, importantly, pilgrims will jump over other pilgrims. So like if my pilgrim tried to move 3 here, they would go 1, 2, nope, 3. But merchants can't do that. So if the AI merchant tried to move 1 right now, they would block themselves from doing so, and they wouldn't move at all, which is another way you can block them. I think that's why only the painting is on the merchant track, because the artist can never be blocked like that by other characters, but the merchant has other ways to keep them from benefiting from their move. If you go here to a seashore space, the blue, then you get to pick one of the 3 wave tiles up here. They are double-sided, so you randomize which side is up at the beginning of the game. One of them is for the pilgrim, 1 for the artist, 1 for the merchant. In this case, the one for the pilgrim that I have flipped up is that the pilgrim can optionally move 1 more than the die value indicated. The merchant will sell every good for 1 more than its regular value. That's pretty crazy. And the painter can flip 1 additional painting every time they take the move and then paint, counting the number of people that are adjacent to their spot. Now, when you land on a seashore, you can take any of these, but if they've all been claimed already, so they're all on somebody's boards, then you can instead, when you land on a seashore, steal a tile from another character. And the bot will actually do this, by the way. They don't get the regular benefits. Instead, the tiles go on the matching character on the first available space, and they kind of fast-track their movement and such. And then the final space you can land on is a hot spring, which lets you take this hot spring token, and in a future dice use, not the current turn that you move the pilgrim, you can discard this back to its spot to double use that die. So let's say I use my painter once, I could discard the hot spring token to move my painter again with that same 1 movement immediately. It kind of gives you a double turn with the character. Now the pilgrim bot will just move around the board, as you would imagine. Like the merchant, they don't move their token up if they land on the painting. They also don't move their token up if they land on the seashore, but they do take one of the seashore tiles. And they don't move their token up if they land on the hot springs. So you can try to make them get there. All right, that was probably too much detail for a straightforward game, but hey, now I don't have to explain anything. So let's go ahead. I'll roll off for who goes first. So here I get a 1, and they get a 3. So the bot's going to go first. So we roll the 3 dice, and we organize them with how close they are to the player's side of the table. So here it's painter, then merchant, then pilgrim. That actually matters, because they have some basic priorities. The first thing they check is, will the movement get their pilgrim to a seashore tile? That is their first priority, to get to a seashore. And in this case, 1, 2, 3, no, it would get them to a temple. So they don't want to move the pilgrim automatically first. Next, they want to move the character who has the highest rank, which is just how far they progressed and what the value next to their coin currently is. Because, and this is also true for the player characters, the points you tend to get for a given character tend to get higher and higher as you go along. They're kind of exponential. So often if your opponent lets you get away with it, you might want to like hyper focus on one character, like just do the merchant over and over, just do the artist over and over. But then of course your opponent wants to try to steal those dice from you, so you can't focus that character. So it makes sense that the Automa would want to pick the character that is best for them. Now here they're all tied, they all have 1 rank. So since rank is not a tiebreaker, instead closest to my board is a tiebreaker, so they're going to prefer the artist. But the only thing is they won't use a die, they won't pick a die if it would move their character to a useless spot. So like here, a single move is fine for the artist, they're going to go there. But if this had been a 2, which means they would land on the coin and not score, they would not have chosen it. Okay, so they've taken the artist die, and they just tick up 1. Now, that leaves me with Merchant 2 or Pilgrim 3, which would just get me 3 coins. That's not that great. So let's start getting some goods for my Merchant. I'm going to take the Merchant die for 2 and go 1, 2, and get 3 items. By the way, you'll see that there's like a little split line here. That's because any number of merchants, well, there's only 2 in the game. It's a 2-player game, but both merchants can be in the same mountain village at the same time in a competitive game. So I get 3 goods. We're hoping for some doubles. No such luck. If you go to a place that would exceed your capacity, like if I move to a 3 or a 4 right now, you get to see all of them, and then you discard down to your max capacity. So you can, try to get up some doubles so you can make one big sale when you move in. Okay, and then the Automa is taking the 3 Pilgrim, going 1, 2, 3. They land on a temple. And for the bot, I don't think I said this, the coastal villages, the forest, and the temples all score for them. So that's now their primary mover and shaker for the moment. They have a 2 rank versus a 1 for both the other characters. Okay, now we're going to roll the dice, and we still want to pay attention to where they fall. So looks like it's going to be like that. So the 1 artist, they won't want at all, so they'll probably leave that for me, which is fine. I'm sure I can use it. The 3 Pilgrim, we already know they're kind of prioritizing, and that'll get me onto the village, which will get me a little bit of coin. But hey, if I'm trying to get my merchant going, that's not too terrible. I mean, I'd like to move the merchant, but if I take the merchant, they're definitely going to get the Pilgrim, and I don't know if I want to let them just like jump ahead too much. Yeah, I'm going to take the Pilgrim for 3. So again, not the best. I go here, and I get 3 coins. Okay, now for the bot. Clearly they can't move onto a seashore with the Pilgrim, and both the merchant and the painter have a single rank, and the merchant is closer to my side of the board, and it is going to be beneficial for them, and also the artist would not be good for them because they'd land on that. So they're going to go to the next coastal town and move on up, which leaves them still with 1 rank, so everyone's still 1 except for their Pilgrim. And then I'm getting a 1 painter. And I haven't flipped any paintings yet, so I'm definitely going to go here. I have 2 neighboring figures, so I get to flip over my 2 first paintings. And the first place I need to go to actually gift 1 to someone is the bamboo forest at 1, or there's another one down here, 2 spaces away. And here we go. That kind of works. I'm trying to find an angle that'll let me show everything when having to move around a lot. Okay, so Pilgrim, Artist, Merchant. Their Pilgrim will not get them to a seashore, but they're the highest rank, so they will certainly go here and advance to rank 3. Uh-oh. Now, between the Painter, I don't think there's any way with 3 for me to even get to a bamboo forest. I can go like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, yeah. I mean, I could go 1, 2, 3, which would put me next to 3 characters to flip over 3 more paintings. That is pretty dang good. Oh, wait, hold on. Be smart, Mike. Look, 2 merchant, 1, 2 will get them nothing. They won't increase rank. So yeah, even though I kind of would prefer to do the merchant, I'm going to take the artist because you got to pay attention to what's actually useful for your opponent. And yes, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I've got 1, 2, 3 figures on or adjacent. So I get to flip 3 more of these. And then maybe I'll eventually be able to actually score with them. Okay, and then the merchant goes 1, 2, wah, wah. Doesn't score anything. Okay, and it comes to my turn. Okay, so we got merchant for 3. 1 Pilgrim, 1 Painter. All right, the 3 merchant would take them there, so they definitely score. The 1 painter would not score for them, so I have no fear of them taking painter. But also, 3 merchant for me isn't great, because I just have to go to a coastal village. I guess I could go there and sell my 1 sake for 4. Yeah, that's the best I could do. But who am I kidding? I should probably take the Pilgrim, because again, that's by far their best rank, their best score at the moment. So I'll go 1, and hey, I go on a temple. Now I've got 2 times 1, 2 points instead of 1. Yay! And then, yeah, the 1 painter would be useless for them, so they're going to move 3. 1, 2, 3, which does get them to rank 2, so still not as high as the Pilgrim for them, but higher than the painter. They really don't necessarily want to do the painter much. I get a 1 painter, or artist, sorry, I'm calling the painter. And unfortunately, gosh, I still can't get to a bamboo forest. There's 1, 2 away, and there's 1, oh, they're both 2 away. But I mean, going here would be 1, 2, 3 adjacent figures, so yeah, we'll do that. And now I got a forest 1 away and 2 away and 3 away, so there's no way not to get it. But I'm also flipping 1, 2, 3. But literally this has scored me 0 points. Like, it's great that I've lined up the capacity to score, but yeah, this isn't doing much. All right, the bot goes first. Painter, Merchant, Pilgrim. Okay, Pilgrim 1 will not get them to a seashore. They would need 2, but it is their highest rank. So boom, boom. Okay, Merchant 1 would definitely score for them. Painter 1 still wouldn't. So let me take the merchant, right? And hey, I can finally get some more goods and then try to sell them next time. All right, so I've got a shirt, I've got a fan, I've got a doll. Everything's represented twice. Fans and dolls are worth less. The fans are worth the least. But still, 2 of them is better than 1. And I'm just trying to see if I want to keep sake or shirts. Let's keep the sake, I guess. Okay, then they're going to move their artist 1, but it doesn't do anything for them. Ha ha ha. Okay, back to me picking first. And looks like artist is slightly more to the side. All right, so I probably want the pilgrim. Where would that get me? Onto a garden, which would increase my score multiplier even more. They're going to score with artists no matter what. They're going to score. Yeah, I mean, everybody scores for them. So, yeah, let's take the pilgrim. I'd love to get a seashore at some point, but 1, 2, 3, we are getting a garden. Okay, and then merchant is a higher rank for them, and it is going to be okay because it'll go 1, 2, and they take up to rank 4, still below the merchant, but not by much. And then I get a 2 artist. I can get to the bamboo, right? Yes. 1, 2. Yay! So I have gifted my first painting. Here, I can move this down a little bit. So finally on the scoreboard with 2. Although, hey, actually, the merchant hasn't gotten any score yet either. Like, they're ready to make it big, but they haven't actually done it yet. All right, I'll tell you what you're doing. Let's doop. Oh, man, a 4 pilgrim move? And ooh, that'll get them a blue tile. So they automatically, 1, 2, 3, 4, go for that. They do not increase their rank. And they want the one that matches their highest rank character. So here they are going to get the merchant wave tile. And I put it over the 5 here. And a wave tile does 2 things for them. They ignore the regular effect. Number 1, their rank counts as the highest uncovered space. So like right now, the 7 would be their rank, not the 5. And then also when they would move up, they skip the wave tile, so they kind of get 2 ranks at once, and it goes to the next spot. So it can super fast track, kind of like the wave tiles can help your characters. It can drastically fast track how quickly they finish a character up. I really want to make sure to take that character from them whenever I possibly can. All right, so let's see, 1 artist or 1 merchant. 1 artist would get me to a waterfall or Mount Fuji, but my next thing is the moon, so that's useless. Let's take the 1 merchant, and I can't sell a shirt, but I can sell my 2 fans for 6 coins total, which sadly gets me to only 9, so I'm still 1 shy of my first gold coin. Okay, that means they take the artist, and they're moving 1, and their artist goes up to rank 2, but still behind the other 2 characters. All right, here's my roll, although we're 99% sure going to take the, the pilgrim from them. Yeah, so a 3 here would get them there. What's going to get my pilgrim? I skip over him. Ooh, onto my own seashore. Let's do it. And the painter one, the artist one will help me flip these more quickly, which is terrible for me right now. The merchant one getting 1 more coin for every sale I make is crazy. Like I would have gotten 2 more coins a second ago. So we're definitely going to take the merchant one. But yeah, they're definitely going to take the merchant as well because it's a higher rank. They're going to go right here. And they're at 6 rank now, so they're almost to the pilgrim. Without the wave tile, they would be above the pilgrim. Okay, then I'm getting 1 artist, which I don't think I can do anything with, right? Yeah, that's right. A 1 before was terrible. I want to give myself flexibility for the moon thing. So if I go on the Mount Fuji space, then a 1 or a 1, 2, 3 would get me there, although I guess a 2 wouldn't. Yeah, which is, I mean, I can go here and flip 1 more for the artist, or I can go here and have a little bit of an easier time getting to the next painting. I'm going to go there and do nothing else. Okay, there first. We got a 3, and a 1. Does their pilgrim? Yes, they do. Boom. Oh, man, they jump all the way to rank 9, and they got a wave tile move forward. Okay, the merchant could go there, which is probably what I want to do since I've got the wave tile for him. But if my artist went 3, I could get to the moon space. But their merchant would definitely score with a 1. Their artist, 1, 2, 3, would also... Oh, no, our artist wouldn't score with a 3. So, yeah, we'll definitely take the merchant. Well, I was leaning that way anyway, so I'll get 3 more goods. Have to throw away 1 of them. Ooh, I got 2 shirts and a 3rd doll. Yeah, let's do that. We are hyper-focused now, so we're going to need... What, a 1 would get us to a shirt, or a 2 would get us to the doll, or a 3 would get us to another shirt. Never mind, we're in a great place. Okay, and then they get the 3 artist. Going 1, 2, 3, wah, nothing for them. Okay, back to me. I imagine I'm going to be taking a pilgrim unless the merchant is looking great. All right, so a 2 pilgrim for me would get me onto a temple. That's fine. 2 pilgrim for them would also advance their rank. So yeah, I should probably stop them from doing that. Ooh, but they're going to leave the merchant for me, I just realized, because look, 1, 2 merchant is not going to help them at all. So perfect. I'll take the 2 pilgrim, get my temple. So now I've got 6 points. They do not want the merchant because it's useless to them, so they're going to go 1, 2 with the artist, go up to rank 4 with them, and that leaves me to freely use the merchant. So what's 2 away? The dolls, right? Oh, this is great. 1, 2. So I'm selling 3 dolls, which would normally be 9 coins, but each of them is worth 1 more, so it's actually going to be 12. Wow. So I had 9. That gets me to 21. Ooh, so the merchant has got 11 points now. They're already at the head of my crew. All right, Automo, what you doing? Oh, I guess those are the things. They got to be doing the Pilgrim, right? Unless the Pilgrim isn't good for them. Yeah, 3 would definitely score for them, so I don't even need to look. It's by far their highest rank. So boop and boop. They got an 11 with that. The 2 artists for them is worth nothing, and the merchant 1 for me is fine. So let's do that. Here we go. What do I get? Ooh, 2 sakes and another doll. And the sakes are worth 4 if I can get down there. That's pretty good. The shirts are worth 4 if I go over there. Although I can't be in the same spot as that merchant, so maybe not. Okay, and they're doing the artist for 2, which doesn't advance them. All right, I'm first to choose this time. Do I want to take their Pilgrim is always the question. It would score for them, and I would get another seashore tile, which I don't really want. But if we go again, I could try to steal from the Pilgrim. I mean, that's kind of cool. And how good is the 1 merchant for me? I could sell the 1 doll or sake at a discount, which is not amazing. 3 painter. Do I want that? I need a moon. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the 3 painter is actually fine for me. But yeah, I think I need to take the Pilgrim, I think. So I'm going to move 1, and I get the artist tile, and I don't really want it. And then, yeah, they're definitely going to do the merchant, which gets them here, moves them up to 8 rank. But I get the artist, which moves me 1, 2, 3, and I've got 4 points with them. All right, Bot is first this time, and I mean, we don't really need these, the direction-based tiebreaker very often, do we? 4 would get them to scoring, and yeah, it's highest rank, so clearly 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh man, they're at 17, they're about to jump again. Unless I can steal it from them, unless I can steal it. 3 merchant, 1, 2, 3, that'd be fine. I thought that was blocking, but it's not. 1 painter would also be fine, so it's really which one I want. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, I can get down to the super sake place. I gotta do that, I think. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm selling 2, normally for 8, 4 each, but now for 5 each, so 10. Ooh, fast track in the merchant. But they get the 1 artist, and they go... Wait, that's not their artist. There we go. And they're now on rank 6. Okay, I'm first. It's probably going to be the Pilgrim. 3 Pilgrim. Man, are they ever going to land on the bathhouse where they don't get anything for it? That'd be great. Oh, crud. But yeah, I got to take it. So I'm going to take the Pilgrim. 1, 2, 3, and increase my gardens. And I've got 9 points. I mean, my Pilgrim's doing pretty well. Definitely better than my artist. They just flipped all their paintings too early. Okay, they don't want the merchant. Do I want the merchant? No, I mean, it's okay. I'll just get a ton more goods. But yeah, they don't want the merchant because they would land there for nothing. Whereas their artist can benefit from moving. Oh, so their artist is actually tied with their merchant now at 8. And I'll move my merchant 1 spot, draw 4. All right. Oh, we got 2 dolls and 2 fans. I mean, I certainly want the triple dolls, but the shirts are better than fans, so I think I won't do that. Okay, they're going to be first, which I'm sure means it'll be Pilgrim time, unless we get really lucky. And no, we didn't. They are moving there and jumping. Oh my gosh, man. They're 21 points, which is a little bit ahead of my merchant. And I really got to take the merchant here because they'll jump over that to there. I want to try to get them to land on the 1 if I can. And their painter will like the 1. What can I do with my 2 move? Oh, I can go 1, 2, sell 2 shirts with my bonus. Gets me another gold straight up. So now I'm ahead of their Pilgrim again. Heck yeah. But then their artist is going to move here and 11 points. So way outscoring my artist. And their, no, I guess my Pilgrim is slightly ahead of their merchant. So we are very close on level 3 here. If we were level 4, I'm sure we'd be getting our butt kicked. All right, but now I can steal a die from them. Getting so many 2s, man. Okay, a 2 for their Pilgrim will advance. So I think I got to take it. I mean, it'll advance my Pilgrim too, so that's fine. So boop, and that's a temple. So now we're at 4 times 3, 12. Okay, now, their artist is actually higher up. And a 2 will work for them. So yep, they're taking the artist. Gets them to 14 points. Ouch. My merchant. I guess I want to make my way up towards Doll Land, don't I? Yeah, it's not that great for me. There we go. Get to draw 3 things, but I can't keep them. No doubles either. Well, let's see. A 1 or a 2 will get me to sell the dolls. So what would be good for a 3? 1, 2, 3, yeah. So I'll take the sake, and then I guess the shirt is worth more, so never mind the fan. Now they're going to be first, almost certainly a Pilgrim. Again, unless we get lucky and it's one of the spaces that doesn't help them. But it is indeed 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, they're 25, and they're going to end the game very soon. And sadly, a 3 move from my merchant cannot get me to the dolls. I could go all the way down to the sake, but like, do I want to? Well, if I sell the sake for 5, that'll get me to 6. And then if I later sell the dolls with my bonus, that would get me 12, which would get me to 18, which is not enough to win. Now, look at my artist, though. Their artist has scored more. If they move their artist, they're going to go from 14 to 17. That's 3 more points. But if their merchant is going to go from 8 to 11... Yeah, so I guess I got to go from my merchant. It's going to... But I'm also moving them away from... Whatever, I'm doing it. So what was it, 3? I'm just so far away from anything. 1, 2, 3. I'm selling it for 5. Okay, and then their artist is going 1. And it's just making a ton of points. Dang it. Okay, but now I get to pick first. I guess theirs were kind of like that. And now this is interesting. Their pilgrim would go there, and their tiebreaker is currently artist. They would steal my artist tile, but they wouldn't advance. And it would still be their biggest priority. That seems like a good thing for me, right? And then I could go, 1, 2, 3, and sell the shirt. And then if I can get my dolls, I win. Yeah, so let's let them have the pilgrim. I'm going to move the merchant. 1, 2, 3, sell the shirt for 5. Which again gets me within spitting distance of a doll victory. Then they are definitely doing this because that's their biggest priority. And they're going to steal my artist one. But I mean, they're not even going to use that in any way for a while. And then I get the actual artist die, though, and I can finish my next painting. Nice. All right, we're coming to the end game here. So I assume they're doing the pilgrim. Yep, they're doing the pilgrim. That was never really in doubt. So that's worth 36 points currently. And shoot, that is not a high enough merchant move for me to make it. Gosh, darn it. It's not even... My artist needs to go to Mount Fuji next, so it's not even a good artist spot for me to go to. Their artist will score... Oh, their merchant will not. Well, great. I'll take the artist die just because the merchant die is useless to me. Well, not useless, I guess. I mean, it would get me closer, because right now I need a 3 to sell the dolls there. So, but they're getting 4 points if they get the artist as opposed to 0 with the merchant. So I got to do the artist, even though it does nothing for me. So I'm going to move, I guess here. So I'm near one Mount Fuji and away from the others. And I'm next to one person. So, hey, I can flip another tile over. And they take the merchant and do nothing. Ha ha ha. It was a big turn for me. I would really... What do I want to do? I do want to steal the the pilgrim from him, but I really want a 3 merchant to just sell the dolls and trigger the end of the game. Merchant die is equally divided between 1, 2... Just okay. But now I got to decide, what are they going to take? Do I take the pilgrim? Now, if they go to the pilgrim again, they're just going to get a sea tile, which they want to do and will be useless to them. Yes. So let's grab the merchant. It's kind of the worst possible roll for them and the best for me. 1, 2, 3. I'm selling these for 12. And the tiebreaker is coins remaining. So if we tie, then we good. So this is going to be the end of the game once these are all resolved. They want this. Ha ha ha. So they steal my merchant tile after it's useless to me. And then I get a 1 painting, which, can take me to Mount Fuji. So I imagine with that, I probably got the win. If I had not rolled well, then who knows? Let's see how close it was, though. So 10 plus 45 is 55. Plus 4 times 3 is 12, 67. 17 plus 8 is 25. Plus 36 is 61. Woohoo! So yeah, very, very close on level 3. So let's get into my review of this one. First of all, I'll say for competitive. I played it mostly with my 12-year-old, my main gaming partner for a lot of these lighter games. And we both preferred this pretty drastically compared to regular Tokaido. That game's kind of fun, and I've heard it described as a Zen game. I would agree. But I also feel like there's kind of just nothing going on with regular Tokaido. You're just kind of moving around and getting spaces that earn you things, and everyone often ends up with kind of similar scores. This one, I think just with the dice and kind of hates drafting each other and trying to see what's good for your opponent, what's good for me, what do I prioritize. That is basically the entire game here, and it's fun. It's also swingy. It's also random. If I hadn't rolled that 3 for the merchant and had rolled only a 1, and I couldn't rush my final scoring, but they could rush theirs, then I probably would have lost the game. So I do think there's a lot of randomness inherent in the system. That's for the solo mode or the competitive play. But the dice are also what gives it all of its meatiness and gives it, as you saw even in the solo mode, gives it the considerations of what's good for my opponent, what's good for me. I think the game does that well. I also like the 3 different characters. It does make teaching the game more complicated than something as simple as Tokaido, but having different ways to play is fun. I will say, though, I'm trying to think. We've played the game a lot, and this might just be groupthink, but I don't know if we've ever finished it with the Pilgrim, because the Pilgrim is kind of benefiting the other characters as well as themselves. Although I guess technically they can get to the end of like their garden track faster than anybody else can finish, since the merchant has to be like going to towns and also going to sell. But yeah, like, and I feel like I've won more often with the merchant, but my son's won more often with the artist. So I won't say whether the game's balanced or not, but certainly I do think certain play groups might find themselves gravitating to certain characters over others. But a kind of cool thing is that if you want to model that and have like the automa kind of force you to maybe go for one character instead of another one, you can change up the relative levels. You could have like a level 4 Pilgrim and a level 2 artist, you know, and then they'd be way more likely to take the Pilgrim dice and less likely to take the artist dice, or you could switch it up. So you can kind of change how the automa plays and change their like relative difficulty in fun ways. I think that's really cool. And overall, the automa, which is, you know, again, the major new addition here, because the Tokaido Duo has existed before Stonemaier did this new printing of it. The automa works really well. I think it's really smooth to play. I think their priorities are very easy to see. You can skunk them. You can see like that a die would be bad for them and leave them to it, which is very much modeling what happens in the competitive play. You know, you are fighting over the wave tiles, although I don't know if the automa should have prioritized it as much in the end since it wasn't scoring them any points. But yeah, fighting over the wave tiles is modeled here. And really the big thing is, and you saw this in my play constantly, in the real game, like it usually becomes kind of clear this person's going for this character the most. I better get that character whenever I can. This person's going for this character. I better get that die whenever I can. So you tend to kind of be like stealing dice from each other unless they aren't useful to your opponent. So I think the Automa does a great job keeping things smooth and modeling. You know, this is what the Automa Factory is best at. They do such a great job of stripping away anything that the Automa doesn't need to do and just focusing on the direct interaction points between the Automa and the player. And I think this is a great system for that. So yeah, for me, I would never want to play original Tokaido unless I guess I really needed a like chill Zen game for a bigger group than 2. But yeah, for 2-player and for solo, this is far and away my favorite one of the 2. And I think it's a lot of fun. It's still a pretty straightforward game. It's still a very quick game, but there are some interesting decisions to be made. You are kind of paying attention to both types of characters. There is some variety in which characters you might focus on play to play. So I think it's a solid game overall. But let me know in the comments if you agree, if you've played this one, if you enjoy it, if you think the new Automa system is good. And thanks everyone for watching. Special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters. That's J. William F., Pedro Lucas, Steve Wren, Miles, Wayne Scott, and KCW. We'll see you at the next stop.